Imagine this. Starting today, you can no longer use words. No speaking, no writing, no way to express your thoughts. How long before your mind starts to feel trapped? Without words, how would you define happiness? Set goals? Even understand who you are? Now, consider this. If words shape how we define reality, doesn't it follow that the words we use every day shape the world we live in? What if your thoughts, emotions, and even your future are being silently controlled by the language you choose? This isn't just a theory, it's a profound truth backed by ancient wisdom and modern science. And in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the hidden power of words, how they shape your emotions, influence your beliefs, and determine what you think is possible. Most importantly, by the end of this journey, you'll discover one life-changing realization about words, a shift so powerful it can transform the way you think forever. What is reality? At first glance, reality seems objective. Facts, events, and things that exist independently of us. But if two people witness the same event and describe it completely differently, which version is real? One person sees a situation as a disaster, another sees it as an opportunity. Who is right? The truth is, reality is not just what happens. It's how we interpret what happens. And that interpretation is shaped entirely by the words we use, the ancient power of words. This idea isn't new. Ancient civilizations believed words had the power to shape existence itself. In the Bible, in the beginning was the Word, implying that words don't just describe reality, they create it. In Egyptian mythology, knowing the secret name of a god granted power over them. In many cultures, words were considered sacred tools, capable of healing or destruction. But beyond mythology, modern science confirms that language is more than just communication, it's the framework for perception. The science of words and thought. In the 20th century, linguist Benjamin Horff introduced the concept of linguistic relativity, also known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. This theory suggests that the language we speak directly shapes how we think and perceive the world. For example, some languages have multiple words for different shades of blue, while others use the same word for both blue and green. As a result, their speakers literally see colors differently. In other words, the vocabulary available to us defines the boundaries of what we can perceive, think, and understand. How words shape your mindset. Now, let's bring this to a personal level. Have you ever noticed how changing just one word can completely alter meaning? Compare these two statements. I have to go to work. I get to go to work. One feels like a burden. The other, an opportunity. The only difference? A single word. Your inner dialogue, the words you use when you talk to yourself, shapes your mindset, emotions, and actions. Telling yourself, I'm terrible at this, reinforces failure. Replacing it with I'm still learning shifts your mindset to growth. These small shifts have enormous psychological impact. How words influence society beyond individuals. Words shape entire societies. A financial crisis can be framed as a disaster or an adjustment. A law can be described as protective or restrictive. The words used in media, politics, and advertising don't just describe events. They shape public perception, guide emotions, and influence decisions. The hidden danger of words. Now, here's where it gets even deeper. It's not just about adding powerful words to your vocabulary. It's about eliminating the words that are keeping you trapped. Some words weaken you. They rob you of confidence, limit your potential, and create invisible barriers in your mind. Here are 3 of the most dangerous. 1. I can't. The moment you say I can't, your brain stops looking for solutions. Instead, replace it with how can I? A shift that forces your brain into problem-solving mode. 2. I'll try. Saying I'll try is an escape route. It leaves room for failure. Replace it with I will, a commitment to action. 3. That's just the way I am. This phrase locks you into a fixed identity. Instead, say, I am evolving, reminding yourself that growth is always possible. Rewiring your brain. Through words. Science proves that words literally rewire your brain. Every time you repeat a phrase, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with it. Over time, these pathways become automatic. Negative words increase cortisol, the stress hormone, impairing creativity and focus. Positive words boost dopamine and serotonin, enhancing motivation and resilience. This is why affirmations work, but only when they're backed by emotion. The ultimate linguistic shift. Here's the most powerful shift you can make. Stop focusing on what you don't want and start speaking about what you do want. Most people go through life saying, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to fail. But your brain doesn't process negation the way you think it does. When you say, I don't want to be stressed, your mind still focuses on stress. Instead, shift to, I am building financial abundance. I am attracting meaningful relationships. I am growing and learning every day. This subtle change rewires your subconscious mind to move toward what you desire, rather than what you fear. Your words shape your future. We began with a simple but powerful idea. Words don't just describe reality, they create it. Now you understand how. They shape perception, influence emotion, rewire your brain, guide your actions, define what you believe is possible, and the greatest power of all, you get to choose your words. Starting today, pay attention to your language, replace limiting words with empowering ones, and most importantly, speak about the future you want, not the fears you have, because the words you choose are shaping your destiny.